Hello and welcome to OnCore for the week of February 27th. This is your weekly show around all things mobile gaming, and let's get right into the biggest news of the week, starting out with Bethesda, who's been on quite a roll lately with Fallout 4 and the Skyrim HD remaster, and the upcoming virtual reality version of Fallout 4. They're certainly one of my favorite studios at the moment, and they've done so well with their fans that basically any words coming out of executive producer Todd Howard's mouth instantly becomes gaming news. And that's exactly what happened this past week, as Todd himself confirmed in an interview that the studio is currently working on 3 big titles, 2 of which he says are classically Bethesda, so think Elder Scrolls game or possibly another Dishonored, but the 3rd game is going to be a brand new mobile game. Howard was pretty cagey when it came to the details about any of the titles, although he did mention that he'd learned a lot from the experience of making Fallout Shelter, saying, "It was a huge surprise to us, particularly how successful it was. We've got 75 million players now." The one takeaway was that the game is somewhat unique, so for the thing we're doing next, we wanted to continue to do that. We need not to look too hard at what's working well for other people. The game we're doing is a very different style game, unique in the space. There isn't something we're going to look at for style. So that's all very exciting to hear, because Fallout Shelter made quite a splash when it was announced at E3 almost 2 years ago. If you remember, they showed it off during their Fallout 4 unveiling and surprised everyone in the crowd and watching at home that the game was going to show up in the App Store that night. It was bonkers, especially for such a polished game. But there was a lot of FOMO from the Android crowd because the launch was iOS only. Now, as far as the new game, this might be counterintuitive to this show, but I honestly don't want to know anything about it until it hits stores, and I just laid out exactly why. It would be so cool if they just dropped it the same way they did Fallout Shelter, and what he said about it being unique to the mobile space, that really excites me, because I think studios like Bethesda need to be at the forefront of maturing the mobile industry and creating genres and gameplay mechanics that we haven't seen in the mobile space yet. But enough about Bethesda rumors, because we got a trailer this past week for a game that's definitely towards the top of my list as most anticipated games of 2017, and that's a follow-up to Alto's adventure, which is Alto's Odyssey. This is definitely a teaser, as we don't see any gameplay, just a new color scheme and possibly a new setting. I'm definitely getting a White Plains desert vibe from this, and all the visuals here deliver. It's certainly going to be a great looking game. One of the aspects of Alto's adventure that I love so much is the minimalist flat art style, but since this is a sequel, I'm hoping for bigger and better. I'd be interested to see if they evolve the simple touch gameplay at all, which was essentially just one-handed experience, even though the game is horizontally oriented. Alto's Odyssey is another project on Built by Snowman's increasing busy slate, which includes assisting on production for both the upcoming Work Hard's Fall and recently announced Distant, and they're co-developing Skate City, which I talked about a few weeks ago. While the studio isn't releasing any real details on the sequel for now beyond a 2017 release window, it appears that the original Alto's Adventure team of Ryan Cash and artist Harry Nesbitt will be returning. And that's all the news we have for you in this week's edition of OnCore. What are your thoughts on Bethesda's next mobile game? Do you have any predictions of what it could be? And are you as stoked as I am for Alto's Odyssey? Let us know by tweeting at us. You can find us at CoreMobileNet. And until next week, make sure to check out the rest of the content here on Core. We got gameplay videos, we got tips and tricks, and of course live streams from all of your favorite streamers. Check it out, and we'll see you next time on Core.